From Forex Traders Daily, this is your daily analysis with Ross Mullins, live from Richmond, Virginia.
Hello everyone, this is today's video analysis for July 7, 2017. Today I'm going to be taking a look at all the U.S. currency pairs as we anticipate significant news at 8:30 Eastern U.S. time. We have non-farm payrolls, jobs news coming out with earnings and unemployment rate coming out at the same time. We also have some Canadian employment data as well, so we want to take a run through of each of the U.S. currency pairs and see what we might anticipate, whether it's positive or negative news. Starting here on the USDCHF, we're looking at the daily time frame. Overall, this currency pair has been in a downtrend. That's not too hard to see with the black trend line. However, over the past few days, we've seen a little bit of a change of that momentum. Let's zoom in a little bit here. As we can see over the past few days, it got back above this pink shaded area for a period of time between the blue and the pink zone. 2 days sitting between there. Yesterday, we saw the market push back underneath and now right back inside that pink shaded area. The question is, are we going to see some positive news for the U.S.? If we do, we're likely to see it back above 96.30 and maybe even challenge back to the blue shaded area into the 96.60s, 96.70s. That's if we get positive U.S. data. Significant positive U.S. data might even see the break of 96.75, the blue zone, and a turn back towards the yellow zone. Now, if it's anything negative, if the U.S. data is not positive, we might look for the fall back underneath the pink zone and maybe even a target back to the green zone down here at the bottom of the chart. So watch that news. Negative for the U.S., likely looking for sells under the pink zone towards the green shaded area. Positive, a turn back higher, challenging back to the blue zone or maybe even the yellow zone, depending on how significant that U.S. data is. Taking it over here to the euro, just the opposite. We're at the very top of the trend. It's been an uptrend. We're at the very top of that uptrend. We've been challenging it for the past few days. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this. That's not zooming in. This is zooming in. Zooming in like this, and you can see the green shaded area here. A couple of days over here finding resistance, a couple of days finding support into the blue zone. Now we're back into the green zone. Of course, the green zone will be our key player for the day today. Positive news for the U.S. will likely look for the hold under the green zone, maybe another challenge back to the blue zone. Negative news for the U.S. and a sell-off of the dollar back above 14.35. We're easily targeting the next new high into the 1.1500 level for the euro dollar. So positive for the U.S., targets back to the blue zone. Of course, if it breaks the blue zone, if it's significantly positive, we could even see a challenge of the black trend line in the orange shaded area. So that's a positive move. Negative move, of course, the break of 14.35 buy towards the pink shaded area. Moving to the GBPUSD, we've had a trade going since yesterday. Sell-off of 1.2950. We sold it yesterday. It's been moving lower. That's good news. We've protected profit prior to the news. That's good news. So it's been moving lower. Significant area of resistance, purple and green zone at the very top of the chart. Let's zoom in a little bit here. And of course, if it's positive data for the U.S., we saw some negative news for the U.K. this morning, which caused it to push back under the green zone. But if it's positive for the U.S., we stay under the green zone. We target the yellow zone. Significantly positive, could even go lower than that, but at least we're going down to 28.65, the yellow zone, if it's positive for the U.S. Negative for the U.S., we're likely right back above the green zone and going to challenge the purple zone, which is our ultimate high right now for the GBP USD. But protect profit if you're in those trades from yesterday on the pound dollar. Let's move over to the USDCAD. Of course, it's a downtrend. Not too hard to see. The red trend line, the black trend line, it's been in a downtrend. It's been challenging historic support lows back here with a green trend line, and the red circle are the blue shaded area. That's 129.60, 129.90. Of course, selling in the direction of trend, that's what we've been trying to do, 129.55. If you're in that trade, as we saw it push underneath the blue zone yesterday, it's a little negative. Hopefully you're using appropriate risk strategies to protect yourself from massive loss if the market doesn't do what we think it should do, which so far it hasn't. If we get any positive news for the U.S., likely to see this turn back higher. Let's go ahead and zoom back in on this. If it's positive for the U.S., this sends this back higher. Negative for the U.S., we're likely to see that sell-off and a turn back under the blue zone. That's good news for our trade. Now, we also have to throw in the caveat that we have Canadian news as well. At the very same time, we have Canadian news. So if it's positive for Canada, again, we look for the breakdown of the blue zone and the continuation lower. Negative for Canada, this turns higher. So this could be a very difficult pair truthfully, because we have significant news out of both countries at the very same time. So if you're in it, protect your trade from massive losses by using appropriate trade size and stop loss. If it sees any profit, of course you'll want to protect that profit as the market moves in your direction. Moving over to the USDJPY, again, we're protecting profit from a longer term trade from last week, but we're seeing the market continue to pressure higher. Let's go zoom it in. This is the trend, the uptrend. We've been studying that for the past few days. Even the pattern of the trend, if I squeeze these out a little bit, you can see them better. These blue circles show the rise, congestion, the rise, congestion, the rise, congestion, and now we're on the rise. The pattern of the trend continues. So positive news for the U.S. We're probably looking for the break of 113.90, the yellow shaded area that you see up here at the top of the chart. We look for the break of that yellow zone, 113.90, and the continuation of the rise towards the green shaded area, which is all the way up here into the low to mid 114s. That's a positive move for the US dollar in the direction of the trend. Negative, we may look for some pullback of our current trend direction for the US yen. Protecting profit, of course, is the name of the game right now if you're holding that trade from last week. Moving over to the AUDUSD, we've seen the market break down through the blue trend line earlier this week. It's been moving lower. We have a trade again going from last week that we've been studying. We've locked in profit, can't lose on the trade, but again, let's go ahead and zoom it in here on this currency pair. It was an uptrend, broke through the trend line. If it's a positive move for the US dollar, the purple zone is going to be our key player today. Under the purple zone, which is 75.80, we'll look for it to go lower, targeting first off the 100 period moving average in the yellow shaded area. That's a positive move for the US dollar. Negative move for the US dollar, sell off. We look for this to go back up, stay above the purple zone, 75.95, and likely at least target to the orange shaded area, if not higher. So your stop loss, my stop loss right now is just above the orange zone in case it turns back higher. Of course, the entry is all the way up here at the blue zone. So locked in profit at just above the orange zone. Positive for the US dollar, lower. Negative for the US dollar, back to the orange zone or higher for the Australian dollar. Moving over to the NZDUSD, similar yet opposite. We're in a trade here, protecting profit, can't lose, and it's very similar. Look at the black box and circle left, blue box and circle right. Very similar situations. Let's go ahead and zoom it in. We're underneath the black trend line. That's important. We're underneath the orange zone. That's important. So the orange zone's our key player today. That is 72.85, 7,300. Under it, positive move for the US dollar. We look for the target back down. Let me grab an arrow here. We look for the target back down to the green shaded area. That's a positive move for the US dollar. Continues to sell back down towards the green zone or lower. Negative move, turns back towards the orange zone, above the orange zone, or all the way back to the pink shaded area for the NZDUSD. Again, all of this is, the caveat is whether it's positive or negative for the US dollar at our news at 8:30 Eastern US time today.
From Forex Traders Daily, this has been your daily analysis with Ross Mullins. If you would like to get Ross's analysis on all the currency pairs he's watching and all the trades he takes today, join him in his live trade room by clicking on the link below. Please leave any comments you have about today's video in the comments section below.